The stage is set. Vikings fans. Picture this, U.S. Bank Stadium buzzing with anticipation. Our star-studded roster, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, ready to chase a Lombardi trophy. But the spotlight is on one position, quarterback. J.J. McCarthy, our 2024 first-round pick, is back from a brutal knee injury that sidelined him his entire rookie year. The kid's got potential, but can he handle the pressure of leading a 14-win team? Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers, the four-time MVP, is out there floating his name to Minnesota like a Hail Mary pass. Reports from Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer say Rodgers pitched a one-year Super Bowl run and offered to mentor McCarthy. Sounds tempting, right? But here's the catch. Signing Rodgers means hitting pause on McCarthy's development. So what's the vibe in the Vikings front office? Let's dig deeper. What do you think, Vikings Nation? Is McCarthy ready to ball out? Or should we take a chance on Rodgers' veteran magic? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Last season, the Vikings were a force, racking up 14 wins with Sam Darnold at the helm. But a crushing playoff loss to the Rams left us hungry for more. Darnold's now with the Seahawks, and Daniel Jones, another 2024 QB option, signed with the Colts. That leaves McCarthy and Brett Rippon as our only quarterbacks on the roster. Talk about thin depth. Head coach Kevin O'Connell is staying cautious. He told Breer, "We won't know until we get out on the grass with him." Translation: McCarthy's got to prove himself in training camp. O'Connell's hyped about JJ's spring performance, but a meniscus tear isn't a small hurdle. The kid completed 11 of 17 passes for 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick in his lone preseason game last year. Flashes of brilliance. But is it enough? Skol fans, are you feeling the nerves or the hype for McCarthy? Let's hear your predictions for training camp. Here's where it gets spicy. Rodgers didn't just call the Vikings, he made a pitch. According to Breer, the 41-year-old legend proposed a one-year stint to chase a Super Bowl while grooming McCarthy for 2026. It's a bold move, especially since Rodgers never got that mentorship from Brett Favre back in Green Bay. But the Vikings said, "Thanks, but no thanks." Why? Because this isn't a rebuild. Our roster's loaded with veterans who smell a championship. Justin Jefferson led the NFL with 1,809 receiving yards last season. Aaron Jones ran for 1,082 yards. Jordan Addison chipped in 911 receiving yards. This team's ready to win now, and O'Connell's betting on McCarthy to step up. Do you think Rodgers' pitch was a game-changer, or are we right to roll with JJ? Hit the comments. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, McCarthy's injury. A torn meniscus in his right knee wiped out his 2024 season before it even started. Rehab's been intense, but reports from ESPN say JJ's on track for training camp. Still, there's no guarantee he'll be 100%. That's why the Rodgers rumors won't die. Some see him as a security blanket if McCarthy stumbles. The Vikings front office, led by GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, isn't blind to the risks. They tried to keep Darnold, who threw for 4,279 yards last year, and even chased Daniel Jones. Both moves fell through, so now it's McCarthy's show. Unless something catastrophic happens. Could Rodgers still get a call? Maybe, but it's looking less likely. What's your confidence level in McCarthy's recovery? Sound off below, Vikings fam. Flashback to April 2025. Rodgers was this close to wearing purple. NFL insider Ian Rappaport said the Vikings seriously considered the future Hall of Famer. Rodgers met with team brass, painting a picture of a Super Bowl run with his experience steering the ship. But Minnesota's all in on McCarthy, and Rappaport's latest report says waiting on the Vikings is futile for Rodgers. Why the hard pivot? O'Connell and Adofo-Mensah believe McCarthy's the future. At 22, JJ's got the arm, the smarts, and the poise to lead. His college stats at Michigan: 6,226 passing yards, 49 touchdowns, scream potential. The Vikings traded up to pick him 10th overall in 2024 for a reason. They're ready to build the offense around him. Skol Nation, are we making the right call passing on Rodgers? Let's debate in the comments. Now let's zoom in on training camp. This is where the rubber meets the road. McCarthy's getting all the first-team reps, a luxury most young QBs don't get. O'Connell's staff is tailoring the playbook to JJ's strengths, quick reads, play action, and deep balls to Jefferson. But the pressure's on. A 14-win team doesn't have room for growing pains. Brett Rippon, the current backup, isn't exactly inspiring confidence. He's thrown for 950 yards and 4 touchdowns in his NFL career. Decent, but not starter material. If McCarthy struggles, the Vikings might panic. Some fans on X are even saying Rodgers could swoop in mid-season if things go south. Crazy, right? What's your bold prediction for McCarthy in training camp? Drop it below. Here's a stat to chew on. The Vikings offense ranked 5th in the NFL last year, averaging 379.6 yards per game. With Darnold gone, can McCarthy keep that fire burning? His preseason cameo last year showed he's got the tools. But the regular season's a different beast. Defenses will come hard, especially with stars like Jefferson drawing double teams. O'Connell's optimism is infectious, though. He told Sports Illustrated that McCarthy's ascendance is real, and the coaching staff's pumped to see him in live action. Training camp will be JJ's proving ground. If he balls out, the Rodgers talk dies. If he falters, well, let's just say the phone lines to Rodgers might heat up. Skol fans, what's the one thing McCarthy needs to show in camp? Let me know. Let's not sleep on the roster around McCarthy. Justin Jefferson's a cheat code, 128 catches, 1,809 yards, 8 touchdowns last season. Aaron Jones, at 30, is still a beast, averaging 4.9 yards per carry. Jordan Addison's speed stretches defenses thin. This offense is a quarterback's dream, but it's also a pressure cooker. Fans expect wins, not excuses. The defense isn't slacking either. With new additions like Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave, the Vikings D-line is stacked. They ranked 7th in sacks last year with 47. A strong defense means McCarthy doesn't have to play hero ball every week. But he's got to deliver when it counts. What's your dream play call for McCarthy to Jefferson? Share it in the comments. Fast forward to the rumor mill. Some X posts are hyping Rodgers as a fantasy Vikings QB, but the reality's clearer. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN and Rappaport both confirm Minnesota's locked in on McCarthy. Rodgers is likely headed to Pittsburgh, where he's been working out with their new receiver, DK Metcalf. The Steelers are desperate for a QB, and Rodgers might be their guy. Still, the Vikings' depth chart is a concern. If McCarthy goes down, Rippon's the only option. That's why some insiders, like Diana Rossini, say the Vikings might call Rodgers in a pinch. But O'Connell's public stance is firm. JJ's the guy. The 2025 NFL Draft could add another QB for depth, but for now, it's McCarthy or bust. Skol Nation, would you take Rodgers as a backup? Let's hear it. Alright, Vikings fans, here's the bottom line. The JJ McCarthy era is here. Training camp will show us if he's the real deal or if the Vikings need a plan B. This team's too talented to settle for anything less than a deep playoff run. With Jefferson, Jones, and Addison ready to eat, it's on McCarthy to cook. The Rodgers dream is fading, and it's time to rally behind our young QB. What's next? Stay glued to Vikings news for every training camp update. Will McCarthy shine, or will the Rodgers rumors creep back? Only time will tell. Smash that like button, drop your hottest takes in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for all things Vikings. Share this with your Skol squad, and let's get loud, Vikings Nation. Skol forever.